Eugene, halfway through the camp now,
Yeah.
and everything on target?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with where things are. They're where they should be. Then we're not. I'm not going to say we're ahead of where we should be. I'm going to say we're probably in the right place, and we definitely need these last few weeks. For the UFC guys anyway.
Yeah. So their fitness is on target. What about the game plans? Are you happy with the strategic?
Yeah, look, the fitness is never a problem for us. That's not normally my concern. I think we've made a penchant of being, some of the fittest guys in the sport. I think we've understood. We understood very early on that, aerobic capacity is king, and we figured that out many, many years ago, and we emphasise that to a greater degree than everybody else. So, fitness is never a problem for us. We're the type of guys that we can do 50 minutes of MMA, but all my guys could probably do a half marathon or a marathon, or they could compete in a triathlon. They're not going to be amongst the top, but they're going to be able to do it. So fitness is never a problem. It's more what I'm talking about is exactly like getting the strategy down and some of the tactics within that strategy, and like getting those down packed so they're second nature basically.
I know you've got a team to help you, but you've got a lot more fighters fighting in the same period of time, so it must be pretty stressful.
It can be, yeah, it can be, but it can be if you let it be. There's a lot of things in this world that people let affect them that they have no control over. One thing I've become pretty good at is when there's a stressful situation and it's kind of like out of my control that I can deal with it, I've stayed very calm, and that's kind of helped me over the years. And it's learning to also like not be fearful of that stress, to like understand that stress is a good thing, and working with it and making the best of it. So yeah, I love a busy gym. I love a busy fight team. I love it when all the guys are training together and they're all, like I said, like forging towards the same goal. It's like one of the most exciting things I've been a part of, to be honest.
Since we last spoke, you've got two more fighters with fights. Shane is, you're saying, now has a fight, and Brad's got a date.
Yeah, Shane and Brad, they have fights. I can't really talk about the date or the opponent, but yeah, they have fights locked in for sure. So they're in the middle. They're in the middle of their camps. I don't know what's going to happen with those guys. Like I said, everything's a little bit different now with COVID and with the New Zealand's voucher system, which is keeping us safe. I think I doubt I'll be cornering those guys. Just not enough notice, unless I want to come back in June or something.
Wow, that's crazy, isn't it? So how big a team do you take away, not counting fighters?
Well, to be honest, we're trying to minimise that because of that 2-week quarantine. It's kind of not worth trying to inconvenience people. Like if you're not, if you're not a necessity, if you don't have to be there, then we're trying to save you, save you a bit of grace and leave you back here. So I'm just taking the essential members, but it's all voucher dependent. Like, I was lucky enough to reach out to the UFC and get a tentative date for Israel's fight, and I was able to explain the situation with Israel and make them understand that even though you don't have the date confirmed, it would be very helpful for us if you let us know, and we can book vouchers well ahead of time. And they were able to do that for Israel. But they were only able to do that for Israel. And so everybody else got their fight like very short notice, and we've got some vouchers for some guys. A lot of the guys are coming back 2 or 3 weeks after the fight because they just didn't get their fight announced on time. Some of them, just like Dan, were trying to work out the corner situation. Other than me, all my corners have jobs. So I'm the only one that does this full time. The other guys, for all intents and purposes, the other guys pretty much do it full time, but they have other jobs that they have to help support them. And they can't be away for weeks on end, otherwise they'll lose their jobs. That's just how it is. So, look, we're taking the approach, we're booking the fights, we're doing the training, we're figuring out personnel and logistics after the fact. So that's just what we have to do. So, yeah, it's that part is a bit stressful, Tony, if we were talking about stress before. But I'm just doing my best. I'm trying to work through it.
Any problems that you've got at the moment that you've got to overcome?
Look, I've already, other than the main problem that I just highlighted, that's pretty much it. Like, it's like getting the personnel to the fights that we can, the appropriate personnel is becoming a bit of a nightmare at the moment. And it's just becoming a case of we'll book the fights and figure that part out later. And if we can figure it out, great. If we can't figure it out, then we just do our best to find a solution. So, yeah, that's the stressful part about the most stressful part at the moment about fighting overseas. But again, what do? We're lucky to be in the situation we are. We're lucky that we've got jobs in this time, and we're lucky we're able to travel. And it's a source of income for us. And there's people that have been put off and marginalised much more than us. So we're just going to adapt and find a way to make this work.
On top of the UFC fighters, you've got, of course, the big junior fight up against Joseph Parker Knight as well to contend with and work around and that schedule somewhere. How's that been?
Yeah, like I said, juniors, we're kind of coming to a calculated crescendo where everything meets at the top with junior. It's been a very... we've periodised this camp very differently. We've made sure we've introduced a lot of the physical exercise, a lot of the boxing drills and stuff at the right time, and gradually building up rather than lumping his body with a whole lot of input that he can't handle. So, been a bit of very different camp, but for all intents and purposes, from what we're seeing, we're right on track to peak junior at just the right time. Especially the last week and this week coming. He's shown some really good signs to us that we can start to push him to the next level that we want, which is brilliant for us and brilliant for the fight. But yeah, that's another exciting thing and another thing keeping us busy. We leave, me and the UFC fighters and some of the other coaches leave the day after that, after Junior's fight. So yeah.
Usually with the big camps, you bring fighters in, sometimes from overseas, sometimes from around the country. Has that been a problem for you? There's people not in the camp that you wish were in the camp?
Yeah, I would probably say that if it was a COVID-free environment, our junior would have a couple of sparring partners here from overseas, and I would probably say Israel would probably have a couple of training partners here from overseas. Look, we're lucky. We're lucky. We've got a big team of guys, a diverse team of guys. We've got so many different styles, so many different weights, so many different skill sets that we can just about mix and match who we want with the juniors and the Carloses and the Israels. That we can get some pretty good sparring partners and some good stylistic sparring partners. And so that's one of the advantages of CKB at the moment, I guess. So it hasn't been too much of a problem.
Well, I just wish I could explain to the people watching this what your workload is, because you arrive here at 4:45 in the morning and train over 100 winter warriors, and then it's never stopped since. We're at lunchtime now and you've never sat down, you've been on the move. I've never seen you eat or drink anything in that time.
Nah, straight into it. When there's work to be done, yeah, well, let's just get on and do it. So, yeah, it's these guys need training and there's classes and whatever it is in between it, and I love doing it. So it's not like I don't want to do it. I'm very happy to be doing it. I'm cool. It's cool. I enjoy it.
Well, I see where the fighters get their work ethic from.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks very much for talking to us, Eugene,
Awesome.
and hopefully we can have another chat just before you go.
Awesome. No, thank you, Tony.
Anything else?
Nah, it's good.
Cool.
Yeah, back into it.